it is a commonly held belief that sex dies in the wake of children. And it is true that some new parents do stop having sex for years altogether after baby comes along. These people often end up in sexless marriages. And if you don't do anything about it, you might be on your way there too. But don't worry, because I am about to tell you exactly what you can do, and I will give you some resources on how to dust off and hone those love-making skills so that you can wow your partner, wife, girlfriend, baby mama, etc. According to some studies, 98% of couples experience a nosedive in marital sexual satisfaction after their first child is born. 98%. And get this, that satisfaction doesn't often rise again until that tiny human leaves the house for college. But does this have to be an 18-year sentence of sexual frustration? I don't think it does. In fact, I know for a fact that it doesn't, and I'm going to show you how to have a creative, colorful, active sex life in between packing school lunches and booking pediatrician appointments. You're also going to learn in this video what mindset shifts need to happen in order for you to get your sex life back. Hi, I'm Caitlin B., a sex and relationship coach who helps couples boost their satisfaction in the bedroom and have amazing sex for life, no matter what. And I've helped couples at all different stages of relationship, from just getting together to on the brink of divorce, coming back from years of sexlessness, and everyone is able to cultivate a sex life that is full of vitality and pleasure and super hot adventures that please both of you and make your whole lives even more pleasurable. In fact, take a minute right now and find me on Instagram at CaitlinVictoriousX, where I post even more content and some steamy behind the scenes stuff. All right, back to the subject at hand. Children, babies, they have chubby cheeks, cute little voices, sticky hands, always. If you are the parent of a toddler, you know that they wake up at the ass crack of dawn and choose chaos until their head hits the pillow at night. We love them. They are total wrecking balls with a tendency to throw a Molotov cocktail into your sex life. Sure, having kids has left you feeling exhausted. There are not enough hours in the day. Your entire identity just took on a completely new facet. And these are all reasons, and great reasons, by the way, that you're not having sex. But strap in, parents. There's actually a biological reason, a physiological change that takes place in your brain, in your gray matter, that actually pumps the brakes on getting freaky. But I'm here to tell you that there are proven ways that you can override those brakes and you and your partner can go back to having sex. Finally. And here's the thing. It happens to all people. Even if you had a super hot and kinky sex life before you had kids, even if your sex life was sort of ho-hum before you had kids, no couple is immune. But that does not have to cause or strike fear in your hearts. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you have children, when you have them, your body and brain changes. It's like flip switches. All of a sudden you fall in love with the cute little bum bun that you brought into the world, and your identity is forever changed. And the thing is that your body changes to make sure that you raise that little one to a point where they can survive. Like, that's the point. That is how our DNA was written. That is how we work. You know, back in the day, our ancestors had a whole lot more things that could cause their baby not to make it to adulthood. They were being bombarded with threats of all different kinds, diseases, physical disaster, other humans that had it out for them, war, you name it. It was not, they didn't even have toothpaste. It was rough out there, okay? So our bodies evolved to take care of the baby, to shut out everything that was not important, not vital, to making sure our DNA makes it to adulthood so that it can pass on our DNA on and on and on endlessly. But we live in a super different world today. We live in a world where our child mortality rate has never been lower. Less women die in childbirth than have ever before. And while this is really good news, it also creates a new problem, which is that, okay, now we have the satisfaction of knowing that our children are likely going to survive, but our DNA still says, don't think about anything, especially not sex, just get this child to adulthood. it's not just about the lost time and all of the other things that come along with becoming a parent. It is ironically that the part of our brain that says make babies flips into take care of those babies before it can flip into make more. And that might mean that it's hard for us to get into the mood for sex if we've also had a baby latched on to our tit all day, or we've spent the day making snow angels with the kiddos. And there's probably a really, really good reason for that. You know, our brains are simple and they like to keep things simple. They like to be in one mode, and it can be hard to flip the switch between mom mode and like sexy, saucy minx mode. If you are in the camp of people who thinks, yeah, but this is just normal, like people's sex lives dwindle, I just have to accept that this is how things are, I need you to stop right there. I'm gonna give you the 3 most important reasons that you actually need to fix this. This cannot go unchecked. You actually need to be having a happy sexual relationship. Reason number 1, one of the very best things that you can do for your baby is to have a great relationship with their other parent, AKA your lover. You see, having sex is good for your relationship. This relationship that you share, unless you're non-monogamous, is probably the only person that you are having sex with, and you're the only person that they are having sex with too. And this is the one thing that makes your relationship different than any other relationship. Like, this is the relationship where the sex and the romance exists, and therefore you have got to prioritize those and bring them into your relationship if they have mysteriously gone missing since the birth of your child. Reason number 2, for many couples where one partner wants to go back to having sex but the other one doesn't, the relationship actually turns into an emotional desert. You can start to feel like you're just running a daycare with the person who you used to date. And the sexually frustrated partner finds themselves either looking for sex elsewhere or staying in the relationship but growing bitter and resentful day after day. They're not getting their needs met. Maybe they miss feeling desired. Maybe they miss having that physical connection. Maybe they just miss the intimacy that comes with a sexual partnership. So do your whole family a big favor and get it on.
Public service announcement. Parents, start having sex immediately. It's very important. This public service announcement brought to you by Caitlin B. and the Department of Sexy Mamas and Papas.
But how, you say? Because look, we love sex. If you didn't love sex, you probably wouldn't be on this channel, because it wouldn't be important enough for you to even look into how to have great sex, which, by the way, since that's why you're here, take a minute just to make sure that you are subscribed so that you can be sure not just to have great sex right now, but to never miss another video that's destined to make your sex life that much better. All right, without further ado, let's talk about the 7 surefire ways to start having more sex tonight, even with toddlers in the house, even if baby's sleeping in bed, even if you still have bassinets and squeaky toys. They're not dogs. It's never too soon to get your sex life back. So let's go. Let's reclaim your sex life, moms and dads. Number 1, know that pleasure does not have to be paid for by duty. I am giving you permission not to finish your to-do list. The kitchen does not have to be spotless. The floors do not have to be shining. The laundry does not have to be folded for you to enjoy sex and pleasure. Let go of the idea that your to-do list is going to get done. It isn't. You will die with stuff on your to-do list. It is time to let that shit go. Allowing yourself pleasure sounds easy, can be very, very challenging, especially when our culture doesn't really place a lot of importance on sex, especially for people like parents with young children. Enjoying sex does not make you a bad parent. Putting down your to-do list to have sex does not make you a bad parent. Putting your oxygen mask on makes you a great parent. There's nothing sexier than someone who's actually putting their needs first while not neglecting the needs of their child. And trust me, that is exactly what you need to do to really feel that you are that sexy, smoking hot, erotic being who is worthy of sex that I personally know you to be. Number 2, Plan for sex. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pencil it into your calendar, although you certainly can if you want to, but let go of the idea that sex has to be spontaneous or that we have to be in the mood for sex to start having intimate contact and even sexual contact with our lover. If we're being honest, sex has literally never been spontaneous. Even when you were younger and you had to like get showered and shave and prepare to see your lover by like dousing yourself in cologne, it still wasn't spontaneous. You were planning to have sex, and therefore within the container that you set, spontaneity existed. It is important for you to make space in your life for a sexual connection. This means setting time aside for date nights, sending the kids to their grandparents or a babysitter, booking a hotel, having a cheap weekend trip away without the kids. You must prioritize and set time aside for sex, because if you don't, it is way too easy to rationalize not having it. All right, number 3, master the quickie. Remember when you were teenagers and you snuck around and had sex in cars or, behind the gate outside of your parents' house, plainly in view of a cul-de-sac, but you tried to make sex happen as quickly as possible because, your brother was in the next room? Embrace the quickie. Embrace sneaking around with your partner. Make it fun like it was when you were in high school. It can actually become a game that you use to spice up your sex life. Enjoy sneaking around your house and having sex in the closet, in the office, in the car. Find gaps in your day where you can sneak something in. During nap time, grab the baby monitor and hit the sheets. Dun, 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 dun. If you make it into a game, it will be a whole lot more fun, I promise. Number 4, turn your whole life into foreplay. This is great advice whether you're still pregnant or your kids are in college. Sex and sexual energy are the energy of life. It is creative energy. And often our creative energy is actually spent making sure that the kids are having a fun time at the petting zoo and not getting bit by a goat, or making a fort in the living room, or hand turkeys, or all the super amazing, beautiful, toxic-free stuff that you can do with paints. But all too often, we actually have no creative energy left to pursue our partner. Our sex life becomes dull and non-existent, which is ironic because sex is what created your child to begin with. So make foreplay a part of how you live your life every day. Simmer your partner by turning them on a little bit on the regular, putting a hand on their hip and kissing them on their neck, telling them how sexy they look in their haircut, holding their hand in the car, sending a steamy text during the day, seducing them and letting them know that you desire them. It is all of the little things that actually lead to a big difference. Number 5, recreate pre-baby conditions. You cannot force desire, but you can always create an environment in which desire can thrive. Before your baby came along, what made your sex life electric? What settings and situations led to the most incredible sexual situations with your partner? Think about this now and how you can recreate it. And leave your thoughts on this in the comments. What about your sex life before having kids was so great, and how can you capture some of that now? Give us an idea, put your most creative and inspiring thoughts in the comments for other parents to learn from. Number 6, create boundaries in your household. This is maybe the most important one of this whole list. In her wonderful book, Come As You Are, Emily Nagoski says that even if the kids are allowed in the space, like your bedroom, you can still imagine mentally that this is a sacred space. This is your erotic haven. This does incredible things to your mindset, and it allows you to have a space where pleasure can just find you. It's hard if your bedroom is your home office and the kids' play space and where you fold all of your laundry and where you have all of your toughest conversations with your spouse to also think about it as your erotic temple or as your sex dungeon, whatever floats your boat. So creating a space, maybe by clearing off the bed, getting the clutter out of the room, maybe mentally freeing the space so that it feels like it is just set aside for erotic sex and pleasure. It will move mountains, just a tiny little bit of intention in that department. All right, which brings us to number 7, which is make sure she comes during sex. Listen, men especially, it is easy for your woman to lose interest in sex if she's not regularly reaching orgasm. Mamas work hard enough. All right. I think we all know this and we can all agree that historically, if you've had a hard time bringing your woman to orgasm and her body changed when she gave birth, so her orgasm might be different. The way that she gets to orgasm might be different. It might take longer. It might be more elusive. She might need more stimulation. And you, to be a great lover, need to be able to respond to her needs as they change over the course of her life, which is exactly why I made my online course, She Comes Too. It is the exact blueprint that you need to turn her on, to touch her in ways that will turn her into warm, gooey putty in your hands. Putty, which is also a children's toy, maybe not the exact analogy, but you know what I mean. It is going to teach you how to go down on her like you are an expert at it, how to give her intense orgasms, how to make sure that you blow her mind every single time so that when you come to her and suggest that she put aside some time for sexiness later in the day, she will be so eager to let you use all of the amazing tips that I will teach you on her that she literally cannot wait to get you into bed. You know what? One more bonus tip on that same note. Even though orgasms are amazing and we certainly want to be having them all the time, if her body has changed significantly after having a baby, take the pressure off of her to have orgasms and instead make the goal of your sexual time pleasure. And you can certainly use She Comes Too to come up with many, many different ways to pleasure her, ways that you have not thought of to bring pleasure to her body. And the more that you find pleasure, the easier it will be to find your way back to orgasm. So yes, make sure that she is coming every single time and continue to make pleasure the goal, because you know what? The number one thing that I see my mom friends missing out on after they have their kids and while they're raising their toddlers is their life they don't experience as much pleasure. Usually they are making sure that everybody else is having the time of their lives while their own pleasure is taking the back seat. So if you take some or all of these 7 or 8 plus 1 bonus tips that I gave you, I promise you that your baby's mama or papa will be interested in making more babies in no time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you are subscribed. I post a new video every single week. I'm Caitlin B, and I'll see you here next week. Bye-bye.